right, we're ready when you are.
We're ready.
All right, here we go. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Good evening and welcome to the Monday, March 20th, 2023 meeting of the Longmeadow School Committee. School committees and other public bodies may continue to hold remote meetings through March 31st, 2023 under legislation enacted in July of 2022. The statute, Chapter 107 of the Acts of 2022, extends quorum reductions for remote meetings. All votes, while there is remote participation, must be made by roll call vote. This meeting is being recorded and aired live on LCTV. We will begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We will start with correspondence, and Mary, you're taking that tonight, I think. Thank you.
The following correspondence will be recorded. An email from Ms. Kayla Werlin received on February 26, 2023 regarding students from Longmeadow High who attended an event at Smith College. A memo from Mr. Donald Jarvis, Director of CTEC, dated March 14, 2023, regarding the Walter E. Quigley Junior Student of Month's Award for February 2023. The following Longmeadow students were honored: Emily Aiken, Graphic and Visual Design 2, and Olivia Klazik, Health Assisting 2. An email from Ms. Nancy Moriarty, dated March 13, 2023, regarding negotiations with Unit F. A letter from Center School Educator, dated March 13, 2023, regarding the budget proposal.
All right, thank you. We have a recommended motion for approval of minutes.
I move that the school committee approve the minutes to the February 14th, 2023 school committee as presented.
We have a motion. Do we have a second? Second. Thank you. Any conversation? We'll move to a roll call vote. Gianna?
Yes.
Mary?
Yes.
Jamie?
Yes.
Anyone at home?
Not that I saw.
No committee members at home.
All right, great. And yes for me as well. We have a second motion regarding minutes.
I move that the school committee approve the minutes to the March 8th, 2023 school committee as presented.
We have a motion. Do we have a second? Second. Thank you. Any discussion? Seeing none, we'll move to a vote. Gianna?
Yes.
Mary?
Yes.
Jamie?
Yes.
And yes for me as well. All right, that brings us to our visitor comments portion of the evening. Just a little note regarding visitor comments. First up, if anyone is willing to or wishes to speak to the committee during public comments, we have a space in the front here for you to come forward. Please come forward and sit at the table because our microphones are a little on the sensitive side and we want to make sure that your comments are heard by those watching at home and also here on the screen. If someone is at home that would like to speak, you will just need to either turn on a camera and wave a hand so I can see you, or use the wave hand function on your Zoom call. Also, when it's your turn to speak, please remember to identify yourself with your full name and then either provide your home address or your role with Longmeadow Public Schools. And our comments are limited to 3 minutes per person. If there is a group that would like to offer visitor comments, you can designate one member of the group as a spokesperson, and that is also an opportunity. And others in the group can also be heard if they would like to add on or extend those comments. All right. I will open the floor to visitor comments. We've got one.
Good evening. My name is Robert O'Connell. I live at 10 Williamsburg Drive, Springfield, Massachusetts, and I am the president of the Longmeadow Education Association. I'm here this evening to offer comments on the ongoing contract negotiations between the Longmeadow School Committee and the Unit F paraprofessionals. Although I have served on the Unit A bargaining team for many years, I can say the current round of Unit F negotiations has been the most challenging that I have witnessed in my time in Longmeadow. Both sides have bargained in good faith throughout the current contract negotiations, and I believe it has been a learning process for both sides. We have arrived at tentative agreements on language changes, but the remaining sticking point is compensation. During negotiations, several members of the school committee, who are also educators, have acknowledged the incredibly important work that our paraprofessionals do every day. But our paraprofessionals are unsure that the average citizen of Longmeadow knows the level of services that they provide to our students every day. Members of Unit F are here to speak about their work in Longmeadow and their desire for a living wage. I thank you for hearing and reflecting on their words. If I'm ceding my time to either of my following speakers from Unit F if they need it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. If there's someone else who would like to speak, you're welcome to come up now. Come on up.
Hi, I'm Shirley Barnhart, 118 Woodside Drive, Longmeadow, Blueberry Hill School kindergarten assistant. Good evening, everyone. My name is Shirley Barnhart, and I've been employed for 16 years with Longmeadow Public Schools, currently as a kindergarten assistant, making $27,000 per year, and I'm a resident of Longmeadow. Tonight, I would like to present my own personal experiences within Longmeadow Public Schools and the perspectives of the paraprofessionals who are also employed with the school system. I hold a bachelor's degree and have held various positions throughout my career, ranging from hotel management, sales, and part-time college faculty. One of the most important parts of my career was raising my 2 daughters, who attended Longmeadow Public Schools and are now successful employed adults. I was a stay-at-home mom for several years, but then decided to go back to work in 2007 and found the school system hours to work well with being a mother. Marie Pratt hired me in 2007 as a first-grade classroom assistant when the class sizes were unusually large that year. Over the next 16 years, I was a paraprofessional A and B, a reading room assistant, and then became a kindergarten assistant in 2017. In essence of time, I will be providing you with 2 documents at the end of my presentation which highlight the job responsibilities of a paraprofessional from a teacher's perspective. One is a recommendation letter written for me by Teresa Mendoza, a 5th grade teacher, and the other is the comment section of my most recent evaluation written by Katie Burke, a former kindergarten teacher with the Longmeadow school system. These are just a few of our daily duties. Work one-on-one with students to build independence and self-reliance. Manage small group discussions to keep students focused and on track. Prepare, modify classroom materials. Complete assessments. Document student learning with the teacher. Support students' social, emotional, as well as behavioral success and growth. Be a team player to cover absences within the building while still being held accountable for assigned students' learning objectives. So as you can see, today's paraprofessionals have a wide variety of duties with some of the most difficult work in the district, which brings me to speak about our current salary concerns. Upon review of our current contract, I would like to highlight Article 5, Appointments and Vacancies, Section A, Election and Contract, quoting, "As provided by law, the superintendent, or where applicable, the principal, subject to the review and approval of the superintendent, shall elect and contract with all educational assistants. The committee affirms its belief that high-quality personnel are necessary for educational excellence. In order to attract and retain capable people, the committee intends to provide the best working condition possible," end quote. The union brought to our attention that with the town's recent recruitment difficulties, newly hired staff have not been hired at step 1, but at higher steps. Although not the fault of newly hired staff, the disparity is very discouraging to the experienced senior staff who yield similar, if not more, years of experience and have the institutional knowledge particular to the Longmeadow school system. Institutional knowledge has its tangible and intangible nuggets that are difficult to quantify, but are priceless in allowing the schools to run seamlessly. One of our daily duties, I noted earlier, of covering for teacher absences, plus being accountable for our own job, is one prime example of how a senior staff's institutional knowledge saves the town money, as it is not backfilling that teacher's absence by hiring a substitute. In 2007, I personally started at a step 1, making $11.53 per hour, and am now at a step 16, making $20.81 per hour. In 2022 alone, newly hired paraprofessionals were started at rates ranging from $17.58 to $22.71 per hour. This data demonstrates that administration needed to increase the starting hourly rate in order to attract quality candidates. The pay scale must be increased dramatically, not only to reflect a proper living wage by today's standards, but to retain the best and brightest professional staff for the Longmeadow school system. Many paraprofessionals are living paycheck to paycheck, dipping into their retirement savings and/or getting second jobs in order to survive day to day in this current economy with escalating inflation. Now is the time for Longmeadow to lead by example in resetting the paraprofessionals' wages to a proper living wage and be the beacon for other school communities to do the same. So I ask the committee, do you affirm your belief that high-quality personnel are necessary for educational excellence, and that in order to attract and retain capable people, you intend to provide the best working condition possible? Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you. Thank you. Next up.
Hello, my name is Christy Golan. I've been an educator at Williams Middle School for the past 14 years, and I've been in the district for 26 years. I would like to read a letter to you on behalf of the teachers from Williams Middle School who've collaborated on their thoughts on basically how they feel a paraeducator works well for them in the classroom and how much it means to them in our school. It may have gone unnoticed here in Longmeadow, but the Boston Globe published an article on how public schools across the Commonwealth rely on paraprofessionals, yet pay them wages that would qualify a family of 2 for federal poverty assistance. There is a large systemic problem of dire economic importance being buried in silence regarding the public school systems across the country. Unfortunately, in our small town of Longmeadow, Massachusetts, where the special education department is held in the highest regards, this affects not only the students, but teachers as well. The problem is that paraeducators are leaving their jobs due to poverty pay wages that they receive. The heart and soul of special education are the paraeducators, and they have been forced to survive on inadequate wages. This problem is now more devastating than ever inside our schools with staffing shortages, children's social and emotional fragility, and expectations of the parents and administration. It is disheartening to know that many of the paraeducators are leaving their jobs after as many as 20 years because the cost of living has risen so dramatically over the past 2 years, and they are not earning a living wage. They cannot afford to stay at their jobs. Even with holding second and third jobs, many are struggling to maintain their homes, afford groceries, and their children's activities. Some are exhausted from trying to find a balance between multiple jobs and their home life. To lose some of our paras due to the fact that they haven't had a decent raise is shameful for our school department because these educators are dependent upon every block of every day. Many of them are not taking breaks because there is such a deficiency of proper staffing and many students are struggling to be in a classroom without them. The urgency to rectify this situation is long past due. The administration has felt that their hands are tied because Longmeadow is such a small town that with little commerce and minimal taxes are being collected due to that. A pay increase would put a strain on the budget for special education. However, as teachers, most of us feel that the town cannot afford to lose these vital members of our school. The welfare of our students is dependent on paras being there to support them. As classroom teachers, we strive to meet the needs of our students as individual learners. With upwards of 100 students every year in middle school, this can be challenging. Among our students, we service many on individual educational plans, which are legally binding documents. Students on IEPs require special accommodations to meet their needs, and without paraprofessionals in classrooms and learning labs, these accommodations may not be met. But paraprofessionals in our classrooms don't just help students on IEPs, they help all students. Many of us consider our paras to be co-teachers due to the fact that they have such a solid understanding of the curriculum and our students. Paraprofessionals often see situations as they unfold. While we as teachers let our students know our doors are always open, we admit it can be intimidating for some. Paraprofessionals who work in the school year and out know the assignments and expectations. They serve as the key liaisons between students and classroom teachers. The overriding point here is that a proper education does not happen in Longmeadow without our hardworking paraprofessionals. That a paraprofessional who's been helping the children of Longmeadow for more than 25 years still only makes around $27,000 per year, given their role in education, is not acceptable. In underpaying paraprofessionals, Longmeadow is unable to fill the positions necessary for staffing and meeting IEPs. We would all be better off, our students especially, if the town of Longmeadow made the financial decision to pay these essential educators what they are worth. We recognize that any salary advancement for any LPS employees impacts the town's budget. We, the undersigned teachers, are simply asking Longmeadow to consider compensating our paraprofessionals in a manner they are deserving. They earn it every time they step into a classroom and help our children. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll leave the floor open if there's any other additional public comment. Any folks at home, again, as a reminder, if you would like to share a public comment, you just need to either raise your hand or turn your camera on so I can see you. All right, Seeing no further public comment, I'd like to share with all of you a statement that is sort of from the voice of the committee as a whole. So first off, just to say thank you very much for coming out tonight. We are welcome your feedback, and we appreciate the opportunity to hear your thoughts and to hear from you on an ongoing basis. It is our intention to continue working collaboratively with Longmeadow Education Association to settle a contract that ensures that our paraeducators are among the highest paid paraeducators in the wider geographic area, while remaining fiscally responsible within the confines of state and local revenue. At the local level, it is encouraging that the town manager and select board appear to be in a position to support the school committee's FY24 budget request, which includes an increase of $1.7 million over last year's budget. Our proposed budget is the highest proposed budget increase in years and reflects inflationary pressures, the needs of a shifting educational landscape, and increased student needs. As committee members, parents, family members of paraprofessionals, and in many cases educators ourselves, we have deep personal connections to paraprofessionals and understand the complexity of the paraprofessional role and the demanding nature of these positions. We also recognize that this role has evolved significantly in recent years. Paraprofessionals play an integral part in supporting our students and delivering services. We are encouraged that the issue of paraprofessional compensation is increasingly becoming a topic of state and national discourse, and we support our paraprofessionals in their own efforts on this cause. Across the country, districts are being asked to address systemic issues with finite local budgets. We will continue to use our role as community representatives to reach out to state and federal officials to advocate for increased funding for local school budgets. The Longmeadow School Committee has worked collaboratively with Longmeadow Education Association to establish compensation arrangements that serve to attract and retain outstanding employees. It has been and will be our goal to continue this partnership by working toward a fair and sustainable agreement with Longmeadow paraprofessionals. We look forward to continuing the conversation with Longmeadow Education Association. Thank you again for being here tonight. All right. Moving on from visitor comments, we will move into school committee announcements and recognitions. Any to share? Go for it, Jan.
I'm always good for some.
Yeah. You are welcome to stay. Nobody has to go. Just to put that out there in case anybody wasn't sure. The whole meeting is public. You can stay. Go ahead, Gianna.
Thank you, Nicole. So, Longmeadow Robotics had their first...
I'm going to have you pause
Yeah.
for 1 second. We might need a reminder just that our microphones are live and we're recording. So while I encourage people to stay and be a part of the conversation, you're welcome to sit in here, but we do need it to be quiet enough to be able to keep moving forward. Hello. Go ahead, Gianna.
Okay. Thank you, Nicole. I'm going to read from my phone. So the Longmeadow Robotics team had their first tournament this past weekend, and the robot had some technical difficulties, but the team won the Team Sustainability Award, which when I describe it or read it to you, you'll understand the significance of winning this award versus winning some of the competitions on the robotics table. The Team Sustainability Award celebrates and recognizes a team that has developed a sustainable program in order to define, manage, and achieve the team's ongoing objectives. This team has built a rock-solid foundation. They have a strong future that's all planned out. They'll be around for a long time. They plan to build and train an army of engineers to save the world. The winner of this award is 7127, Longmeadow. So, Superintendent, I was just saying that the Longmeadow Robotics team, their robot didn't win so much this weekend, but the team won a very prestigious award, especially for their efforts in bringing STEM to the younger kids and doing their community service. So that was really great. And then Dagan is not here, but Did anybody go see Mean Girls? I watched it on Saturday.
Me too, but I have heard it was low.
It was great, and the end scene, they're singing, you know, "Be a star, you're a shining star," and it was just amazing to see all the different kids with all the different abilities and all the different, you know, just personalities up on the stage singing and dancing together. So those were two great things.
Wonderful. Any other school committee announcements or recognitions? Mary?
There was a fabulous music night where all of the chorus groups sang in the gym at Longmeadow High School, and it was just a beautiful event and really fun to see our little ones singing with our seniors, you know, all the way up. It was very powerful.
Wonderful, thank you. And any other additional school committee announcements or recognitions tonight? All right, seeing none, we will move on to business with guests, which there is none. Other reports, I think we have decided to table reports for tonight since we are on a little bit more of a time crunch for this evening's. That also means assistant superintendent reports are tabled unless there's anything critical, okay? Dagan is not here, so past the student representative report, is there a report from LPVEC?
I'll deliver it next time.
Next time, okay. Energy and sustainability, Kevin is not here. Gianna, would you like to report out on SEAL?
I'll do the same.
Same, next week, okay. Subcommittee reports, I think we are gonna take the finance subcommittee because we have a recommendation, if I'm correct, actually that comes up after for new business, so we'll skip over the, okay, we're gonna table the subcommittee reports then. We will hear from finance subcommittee and curriculum subcommittee at our next meetings. We do not have reports for either policy or evaluation. We have no ongoing business, and so we find our way to new business, and we will take up the topic of school choice.
All right. So thank you. In your meeting packet is a recommendation for your consideration regarding the number of school choice seats and Metco seats that we are recommending we open for the 23-24 school year. The recommendation is for 2 seats to be opened at grade 1 and 2 seats to be opened at grade 9 for school choice. So that's 2 at grade 1, 2 at grade 9 for school choice. And regarding Metco, we're recommending 2 kindergarten seats and 2 grade 9 seats. Our approach here is to look at ways to introduce choice and Metco seats in ways that help us maintain our commitment to these 2 programs, but also don't create a situation where we would tip into needing to add staff. So we want to be thoughtful about the individual class sizes and also the overall cohort size in making these recommendations. We have, correct me if I'm wrong, folks, 2 school choice students graduating in 3 school choice students graduating, thank you, in this school year, and 0 Metco students are enrolled in grade 12. So this would increase our Metco enrollment by 4 students. Last year, we increased enrollment as well, and so I think the general sense has been that this committee in recent years has been interested in us expanding our commitment to Metco. It's been a successful program for us for many years. Sue is a great liaison to our Metco families along with Sandy McDonald, and so that's for your consideration tonight. If I know we are tight on time, just please know that this doesn't have to be necessarily the end of your decision-making in these areas. In other words, if you wanted to commit to the seats that we're recommending tonight, you could ask us to, or we could come back with a recommendation to increase the seats in either school choice or Metco. So this would be sort of our opening recommendation, but if the committee felt like you wanted us to go back and take a look at the possibility for some additional seats, we could do that as well. So for your consideration, and if time doesn't allow us to fully get through your deliberations on this, it would be okay to bring it back next week as well.
All right, wonderful. Questions or comments related to either school choice or Metco? Anyone have any? If not, I'm not, yep. go
Yeah,
ahead,
just sixth grade. I remember last year we looked at K, 6th, and 9th. Is sixth grade not a good option because of the number of students? I don't remember off the top of my head how many students we have in sixth grade.
Yeah, I think
Is that
that's
what wrote it?
Mr. Maz is looking at the overall cohort size. I think that's when we looked at that current fifth grade, rising sixth grade, we were trying to understand the number that would go to Glenbrook and the number that would go to Williams.
Yep.
We want to make sure that that sixth grade team is served by a team of 5 core or 4 core academic teachers. So
Okay.
if you have the numbers in front of you, it might be.
Yeah, right now the projected enrollment is 213 students, so hoping that they break pretty evenly.
Okay.
That would kind of put us at that upper level with 5 sections
Okay.
in sixth grade.
So that's why
Yeah,
kind of.
that's why we-
And kindergarten doesn't make you nervous, given we really don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
The
so-
numbers?
Yeah, I think we're being modest in the K recommendation. I think with 2 Metco seats, we feel
Okay.
confident that we can add those 2 seats without
B.
tipping us into a 4th section potentially at any Metco school.
Okay. And if a bunch of students do, say 5 new people move to town, that isn't going to completely tip.
Yeah, I think our,
At that
based
point,
on-
we figure
yeah.
out what to do, kind
Yeah,
of thing.
I think we're safe based on the number of students that we're projecting for the upcoming kindergarten class.
Okay.
I think there's sufficient room to add 2 seats. We like to introduce Metco students at grade K. That's sort of historically been the way districts approach Metco, so
Okay.
it seems to make sense for us.
Got it.
And frankly, again, we're being modest in the K recommendation here. If, come, I don't know, as late as the summertime, I suppose, we could add additional Metco seats if we were even more confident that we could take them on without adding
Okay.
staff.
Okay. Got it.
Any other questions or comments? Yes, Gianna?
I'm sorry. Jamie, did you say that the finance subcommittee also talked about school? I see that it says.
We had to, because of the snow day, we weren't able to meet. So we aren't meeting till Thursday, so this was put directly on to the school committee, just because we wanted to get it in front of everyone.
Okay, because one motion says,
Yeah, we're gonna have to, so this finance
out that
sub
one.
has not, that this would be initiated by the overall school committee. We're kind of bypassing finance sub, given we weren't able to meet.
okay.
If it were more comfortable and you wanted to wait for finance
You
sub
could. You
to
could.
sort of digest it and discuss it and come back, we can come back.
Yeah, we're meeting on Thursday morning, so,
Okay.
I mean, it's up to the committee and obviously what you prefer us to do, but we're going to be meeting very soon. So we can always come back with, yep, this makes sense, and we kind of dove through the numbers a little bit, or we can talk about it now, so either way.
Questions related to that? To be honest, I think I would actually prefer that we do that, if that works. Do you
It works
guys
for
have
me.
time on the Thursday meeting for that to be
Yeah.
done? And we would have.
Yeah.
I realize we're in, is it historic to have had 2 back-to-back school committee meetings canceled from snow days? It feels historic on my end anyway. But we will be meeting again next week, so that gives us enough time still for those openings.
Yes, oh, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, then let's plan to, we know these numbers are at least potential tentative numbers, and we will plan to revisit this as far as a motion goes when we get confirmation that that is the recommendation of finance sub. Is the same true for preschool rate?
My sense is that finance sub would like to have the opportunity to talk about preschool tuition, so.
Yeah, I think, I would agree. Like, I think if we talk about all the, the fees associated with all the different, whether it be sports or whatever, we're going to go through it, this
Okay.
one as well. So we can come back to you on that one as well.
And your last item is the tuition rate, which is generally more straightforward in the rare circumstances where we have a student tuition into Longmeadow Public Schools from out of state. We have historically set the tuition rate at the per pupil expenditure rate that's given to us by the state.
Okay.
And so if you felt like it was that straightforward, you could essentially base it on that per pupil rate, which we don't have penciled into the annotated agenda. Do you have it at your fingertips by any chance?
It is. The current data that's available is the FY21 rate, which is $15,978 for in-district per pupil expenditures. 22 rate has not been published as of yet. I haven't heard of any interest.
I actually got a phone call today, which I have not returned yet, with somebody inquiring.
Okay. We have not had
Until today.
students enroll through this program, so it has to be an out-of-state individual because we do participate in the school choice program. It cannot be from another Massachusetts district.
Yes. Questions about the out-of-state tuition rate? And/or if no questions, a motion?
You want me to do it?
Did you write that?
Yep. I move that the in-district per pupil tuition rate for out-of-state students is $15,978.00 for fiscal year 23-24. Does that work?
All right, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, we will move to a vote. Gianna?
Yes.
Mary?
Yes.
Julie?
Yes.
Jamie?
Yes.
And yes for me as well. All right. Well, that brings us to the end for tonight. Since we have tabled multiple items, we have left in front of us one further motion related to executive session, and this will not be reconvening. Do you want me to-
Okay.
Go for it.
I move that the school committee meet in executive session pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 330A, Section 21, A, purpose? I just read it like
Yep.
that? Okay, sorry.
No.
2, to conduct a strategy session in preparation with collective bargaining with units A and F and with non-union personnel, the Assistant Superintendent for Finance and Operations and Assistant Superintendent for Learning. And purpose 7, consideration of release of executive session minutes of previous meetings, not to reconvene into open session.
Thank you, Mary. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any further discussion? We'll move to a roll call vote. Gianna?
Yes.
Mary?
Yes.
Julie?
Yes.
Jamie?
Yes.
And yes for me as well. Thank you very much for coming out tonight. Sorry for the abbreviated meeting. We have select board coming in soon. And we look forward to seeing everyone back at our next meeting. We will be meeting again next Tuesday. I don't even want to say it. Hopefully there won't be.